Welcome, Esma. I'm so pleased that we have a chance to talk together today. We've gotten to work together through the Conservatory Honors Music Program. I'm so pleased to be part of the chamber music, and I'm just so impressed with the passion that you have for this program. And I wonder how you got started in it, and what you are enjoying most about it, and how you're managing with the pandemic so beautifully.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm really deeply honored to be here and have a conversation with you. Um, I think I'm so inspired and passionate about the program because I'm a product of typical um, music schools you can find all around the Europe, where you are bred from early legs with 2 lessons of piano and 2 solfege lessons a week, with twice a year exams, grades in the middle of the semester as well. So, and when I came to the States, I heard about music schools, but they don't have what we did have. And then I was kind of, how can somebody come to the college and not have a solfege? I had solfege for 30, 13 years before I stopped having solfege in the last year of my university. So the last year of solfege was atonal or atonal, not quite sure how you call it. So, and that was the only time I had to sit and really, really work hard because it was difficult. So and then when I was asked to take the program, I thought, oh, that's a great opportunity to be with kids who want to learn and then to challenge them and stretch them. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. And this pandemic, it's really the time right now when kids can focus and do even more. Because there is not too much moving around and they are happy doing it.
That I think that has been a gift to all of us to be teaching and feeling that music is making such a difference in the isolation that people feel. But for example, I mean, one of the challenges that you've met so extraordinarily is the chamber music program, which is the little bit that I'm doing. And I wish you'd tell people about how we're doing it because I just people can't believe when I say, well, I can hear my duet partners and people are hearing their piano trios and they haven't heard about how we manage this and it's been a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, we are a small school and a small program, around 60 kids averagely we have, and the only performing component of the program is the chamber music, and um, this is something what I truly love to do and always have done all my life. From early legs, I would call my sister and say, "Can we play duet?" and then find something. Um, so when the pandemic came, I just thought, well, we are in the war-like situation, and but we have everything. We have power, we have food, we have water, we have internet, we have technology. We had nothing like that in Sarajevo in 1992, 1993 when the war broke. And I thought, well, why don't we use those things? And digging out and finding out, talking to some friends of mine, I heard of Jem Kazam, and then seemed to be something that we can start using. It was quite challenging. It was wow, the summer I want to forget last year. But I must tell that everybody went on board, and first of all, teachers worked so hard to put that puzzle of Jem Kazam together. There are a few components that needed to be prepared and in place. But then the students also came and joined, and we really didn't have too much of complaint. And Jem Kazam has its own mind. It's underdeveloped program. It's program that can be stuck, and the reason that can be stuck, it's also slow internet at some places. I know a person who has everything, that the best possible equipment, but internet is slow and she cannot use the Jam Kazam. So, but we've been doing it, and if Jam Kazam is not working, we can talk about chamber music, we can use the Zoom, and you are one of those who is working
Well, I
and
mean, I have appreciated so much because it was a struggle. We finally have Jam Kazam and we're all able to do it. But we had to have the girl, my team video, yeah, themselves, and then one would play the video while one would play live in front of us, and that's sort of how we managed. We took turns that way, and now that we finally got it working, it's a great triumph. I mean, I think technology is both the great savior and the great enemy, depending on when it works. But I have started rehearsing with a violinist who's about 30 miles away, and it's so exciting and so wonderful that we can
On
actually
Jam.
with Jam Kazam. But we have found out that if we do it like between 2 or 3 in the afternoon, that's fine. If we start trying to do it at 7 at the night, it often doesn't work. And so I wonder if that has to do with the number of people, that are using the internet, and maybe that's part of the interference. I don't know. I guess I'll.
Well, I'm sure that internet is not built to be so overloaded as it is, and everybody uses it. Schools use it. People who never thought, like we musicians, of using internet,
Yeah.
so we use it, and it's just not ready for that. So it's just drained out whole system, and they are not making it stronger. I mean, they make it a little, but I don't think it's in full power. And then I hope from the next academic year we will be able to move at least those small groups and chamber music ensembles back to school. Many people will be vaccinated,
Right.
teachers, and if we get those rooms that have more ventilation and space, we can do something.
Yeah.
I'm so optimistic, and I want to believe that.
Oh, I too. I know, Craig and I talked about the theory classes, and I gather the other classes are functioning virtually with no problems, just Zoom and things like that. Is that what I mean? What are some of the other programs that are being for the honors program? What are
Well,
the
we have these music theory, music history classes, Dalcroze class. I hope Dalcroze can go in person because it's quite challenging, like a chamber music, to see how those bodies move and react, and to give any suggestion. You need a space for Dalcroze.
right, right.
So yeah, we will see. We have to wait to see what Ryder decides and how they do it, but. I some kind of hybrid is what I'm expecting to be
Yeah.
happening, and we have some plans and ideas. We'll see how is that gonna roll down the road. Yeah.
One of the things that I thought to myself as we were talking about the honors music program is I wonder whether people realize that they are able to take lessons outside of the program because we don't actually offer the lessons as part of the program. Is that so? That people may come in with teachers from the conservatory or even with teachers from outside.
Well, we pride ourselves that students can have their private teacher because that has to be really fantastic little match between and chemistry between teacher and the student. And as long as student is learning and improving, can have any teacher. We don't want to limit them to the conservatory teachers only. So we have lots of students who are having non-conservatory teachers and are joining our classes and are happy to be there on Saturday. And
Yeah, I mean, I just think having that Saturday together, there's such a special feeling to finally meet up with
oh
people
yeah.
that care
I
about
think
music.
I think it's important to our community school. It's important to reach out and then to be in touch with everybody and then to open the door.
The other thing that I mean, there are many things about your background. You've done so much playing, so much teaching, and been so much part of the international community. And you mentioned how much music you had as a child. What do you think you now bring to your teaching in America? And you've been here quite a while. Because having had that experience of 2 lessons a week and 2 theory lessons and all that solfege, and yet we don't have that here. How have you adjusted, and how have you you know, how do you deal with it knowing that people don't practice as much and they don't have as much opportunity?
You know what? Over these years, I've taught myself how to teach and how to adjust. And one of the nicest things I've learned is from the gentleman who comes to teach the summer flute camp, Jerry Garrell. Um, and he is from Chicago, a phenomenal flutist. And last year was supposed to be the 20th year that I was accompanying that camp. So I was so looking forward and so sad that we couldn't do it. Fingers crossed for this summer. We shall see. And his wife, it's a cellist, also professor in Chicago. And I loved on Tanya's website, on the bottom of her website, she said, my favorite activity is singing. So I'm really teaching my children to sing. I'm teaching them that piano is our extended body. It's my voice, and whatever I think, my piano will do for me. So, and I tell them that composers heard sounds in their heads, and they use notes to write them. So we don't read notes, we read sounds. And years ago, maybe a decade ago, I was thinking, oh, that's too early to approach that way to little ones. But I was so wrong. I right now, that's one of the first things I ever tell them. And since I've started doing it, and since they started singing, they're really starting to manipulate with sounds much better, and they're more free. Also, you need to gain that freedom. So
I'm so glad you said that. Having taught at the college so long, and of course at Westminster, where everybody sings. However, the pianists, many of them were very, uneasy. The ones that had not been singing as children, and it opened a world for them, even in their young adult years. But I also was brought up on singing, and although I wish I had a singer's voice. I could never learn anything unless I could sing it. And it's interesting how that isn't second nature, I think, to all pianists. And
yeah,
you have to help them with. Yeah.
my son would very often say, "Mom, you gotta stop singing. You have terrible voice," because he would hear me. So, but I don't care. It's just that I'm saying something what's on my mind, and that's what I teach really my kids. And very often, if I judge or something, I would just say, "Can you please sing this melody to yourself?
Mhm.
You'll find out where's the goal note and how you wanna end a little bit softer over here, right?" So, those are my quite common comments, which I deeply believe in it. If I don't have solution, I sing it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's interesting how something that's in a way so much part of a culture is then becomes less of a culture, I think, you know.
That was the cultural shock, I'll tell you. That was really because we are trained, we are bred, and here you come to college, you never had counterpoint. We had counterpoint in the high school,
Yeah.
so it
Well,
was
well, I
easy.
mean, for me, it was the ear training too that was missing. To ask a college freshman to start taking dictation when they have never done anything like that in their lives, and that's not their fault, but we really
Oh,
have to. It just hasn't been part of our tradition. So, what else have you brought from your European? I reread your bio to remind myself how much you started in Sarajevo and you were in Austria for a while and many different places, right?
well, you never say never in your life. Life brings you where the life will bring you, so you will do what you are supposed to do in your life, right? So yeah, I always dreamt of living in Vienna, and I love that city. I love the culture. Uh, um, I love that music. And it happened because the war broke. And I was in Austria before on different scholarships and learning language and being au pair as a
Oh,
young.
okay. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. So much.
Uh-huh.
So, but then my ex-husband really, who was a historian and researcher, he thought that's being in United States is much better place for all of us as a family. So I had to leave the dream job. Being a componist at Hochschule für Musik was really fantastic. So and I did it, and here am I, at the Westminster Conservatory, surrounded with brilliant people and colleagues, and collaborating with some people from college. Just it was fantastic opportunity altogether. I was really lucky to get to all the places that I was also getting. I worked hard, but I was lucky also. You have to be born under the
Yeah. Well,
lucky star.
people have, that's an argument I think people have a lot, with me too, is we think we're lucky and yet we also do work toward goals. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
and it's part of what we try to do with our students, I think also is to, to foster what may be a given talent, but it is to help them
And
develop.
it's fantastic because you learn from everybody. You never stop learning. And that's the beauty about our profession. You never stop learning. There's always something. And you learn from the students you teach.
Absolutely.
So that's really phenomenal, you know.
I agree. So if you had a wish list for the future, just in terms of what we could offer, what would you? And and didn't have to worry about pandemics too much longer and all of that. What other things would you hope we could do for our students?
My hope, my wish, it's to see the honors music program having a big ensemble.
Aha.
My heart is broken. I'm so saddened when we just get a great student. Like we had a fantastic bassoon player the other year, and she was with us, and then suddenly a year after, my mom said, "Oh, we're not continuing. We are going to Mannes School of Music." She has been accepted there. So then we have great violinists, and they all are leaving because, or Craig did have one of the French horn students. They just left. They went to Philadelphia because they have orchestras. So um, if we could all work together and think, even a small orchestra, small, big ensemble would be beneficial for us. We would draw more people and be able to expand what we are doing,
Yeah.
organize maybe even more concerts or inspire kids. And we have Ruth, who is an extraordinary conductor. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
we
I
have
agree. I mean, I think that's a great goal to look forward to. I mean, not only I understand, from the standpoint of an orchestral musician, it's such an important experience. And even in chamber music, there's so many wonderful, weird combinations, flute, bassoon, and piano trios, and
oh yeah.
interesting combinations that we could do if we had more instrumentalists and students would have opened their ears to more sound. So I'm with you on that. I'll do what I can too. Thank you so much, Esma. It's such a pleasure to talk about these things, and
You're
thank you
welcome.
again for all that you're doing for the honors music program. It's really wonderful.
Thank you for inviting me. It was really fun, and then and to share a little bit of our common experience. And nice to see you.
Likewise. Thanks again.
Thanks.